There once was a dragon who caused all kinds of grief. There once was a dragon who was a bully and a thief. He roared for food from a village, the best young lambs brought to slaughter. And then one day he demanded to eat the king's daughter. Imagine the scene, if you care to. The ground was covered in ash. And then the dragon lifted its giant head and gave a great fiery gasp. Then an armored knight came riding by on a horse white as snow, a cross like blood on his shield, and a lance with a silver glow. The dragon moved to face the knight named George, who turned his shield to the flames, and then he plunged his lance into the dragon's mouth while the blood was running in his veins. The dragon fell with a terrible roar. A fair maiden there and then did faint. A village freed from the dragon's reign, and from that day after, I, brave George, I then became a saint. Now, it may be a few days until the official day of St. George's Day, but there's no problem of celebrating it a few days earlier. But there's a reason why that we celebrate it in our country. What makes England England more than those who call it home, of every colour, creed and name, with no two people quite the same? It's cricket, it's football, it's rugby, it's beer o'clock, can't come soon enough. With Sunday roast to Vindaloo, we made a cue of an art form too. As every season is felt in full, the weather our favourite chat, from picnics, parks and country walks to gossipy over the edge type talks. So whether you were born here or whether fate brought you to these shores, our common bonds are plain to see. So who fancies a cup of tea?
And of course, thank you, St. George. I'll borrow the microphone now, if I may. Thank you very much. Thank you to St. George for joining us this evening, and why shouldn't he? Well, another tradition. Good evening, friends! Well done. No need for a repeat on that one. Good evening, welcome, and thank you all for joining us here 2 days before St. George's Day, obviously, at Littleport Village Hall for Littleport Christian Spiritualists, your Thursday night of comfort, upliftment, love, friendship, and joy. And of course, mediumship. And of course, tonight we are welcoming back a very, very good friend of ours for our demonstration of mediumship. It's not his first time here, but it is his first time playing with the microphone, so good luck. But it means everyone will hear you. And of course, give a big Littleport welcome to Martin Quigley. Now, we have all of the usual stuff tonight. We've got lots to get through, so I'm going to crack straight in because we have to open. Tradition dictates it. Spirit demands it. And the need to connect with the world of spirit, it's essential. Let's join together and open this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love, of hope, and of friendship, to witness your proof and your truth that life is indeed eternal. As we make this place prepared and ready for you, Great Spirit, to allow the veil to be lifted, that all of our friends and loved ones that we thought we'd lost, but have not, come forward through your instrument tonight, Martin. We make, as ever, the statement that everything we do will be in the name of love, in the name of truth, and in the name of light. Amen.
Amen.
Well, friends, of course, we have just had a wonderful, wonderful reading there from St. George, also known as Jack, our technical director, who keeps us online, hopefully, so long as the internet stays with us. He's got no control over that. But of course, one thing that I said a moment ago in the prayer is that everything we do is in the name of love, in the name of truth, and in the name of light. And truth is important. Now, here in this country, and indeed many countries, St. George is the patron saint. And of course, we've just seen the understood and recognized vision of St. George. A knight in shining armor, flying the flag. But is that the truth? We won't go into the dragon just yet. I'm sure we've all met a few over our time on this earthly plane. But we won't go into the dragon yet. Barbara, behave. I know where your mind went. You're a distraction tonight. I'm loving it. Friends, the thing is, every week, off and on, I'm saying that we should be reminded that although we use the name Jesus Christ, that's not the name he would have answered to. It was Yeshua, which would translate better as Josh. Now, that might not sound so glamorous and awe-inspiring, but it was the work that he did that mattered. The same can be said for St. George, the patron saint of England, this green and sceptred isle, waving your flag high. What is it? For Harry and St. George. He never set foot in England. He wasn't even English. He was born in what is now currently known as Turkey. His mother was from somewhere out in the Middle East. He moved, to Libya with his mother, where she was born. And his father also suffered the same fate as St. George before he grew of age. He went all the way across Europe, became a member of the Roman Empire Centurion's Legion. That was his armor. That was his uniform. But he also believed. He also had faith. And he stood firm. And some might say that he stood too firm, because that was why he was executed. That is why he was made a martyr. That is why he was made a saint, because he stood up for what he believed. He fought for what he believed. Openness, truth, freedom, love, compassion. And that, where he died, was in Israel. All starting to tie in together now, isn't it? Once again, it's important to remember the truth. He was not English. But what he was the very spirit of humanity. Now, the very spirit of humanity is compassion, kindness, love, and freedom. So why not have him as our patron saint? There would have been dragons that he fought. They wouldn't have been literal ones. Interestingly enough, the story of the dragon originated in Libya. But he did not wear the cloth of the England flag. And why? Because it was created for him. And it wasn't even created in England either, but that's another story, and I won't keep hammering the point. Or will I? There is one aspect of the flag of St. George and the name of St. George that is called out that is detestable, disgusting, and completely contrary to everything St. George stood for. And it is used for racism. Now I've told you what I've just told you, doesn't it make it sound so ridiculous that people use St. George for racist intent when he wasn't even English. Makes a mockery of what they're doing. What else makes a mockery of what they're doing? Humanity. Because together we can stand with hope and with compassion and with joy, with freedom, and recognize that there is only one race, the human race. We are all brothers and sisters. If you look into the scientific aspects of something that happened a couple of years ago, they did a reconstruction. The first Britons were not white-skinned either. So it throws a complete spanner in the works of anyone who wants to be bigoted, hateful, or unkind. And why does that happen? Because it's just wrong. Kindness wins. Compassion wins. But most importantly of all, that magic word, as I was taught, a word very closely associated with the knight St. George. Courage. Courage wins out every time. Courage is the driving force behind hope. The shield and the sword of hope is courage, and we must all exercise it as often as we can. I heard an interesting phrase this morning. A gentleman driving a lorry, unloading his wares into the back door of the shop from where I work. Other stores are available. Not as good though. And he said to me, which would you prefer? To be comfortable in your discomfort or uncomfortable in your comfort? And that got me thinking. We all settle, we all rest because it's comfortable. Even if we're not comfortable with it, it's comfortable to be safe and play it safe. But to have courage, you must find discomfort in your comfort, because as uncomfortable as it might be to rise to the challenge, to stand for what you believe, to fight for what's right, to fight for what you want, the comfort that you find in it is the reward. Hopefully there's a few more rewards, but the comfort that you find is the reward. And that's whether you are fighting for what you believe, be it a matter of faith, be it a matter of politics, whether it be a matter of race, colour, creed. Go for the discomfort in your comfort. Because the discomfort is the challenge. The discomfort is the courage. The comfort is the end goal. Peace on earth, goodwill to all peoples. No matter what flag they fly, no matter what colour they are, no matter what armour they actually did wear or not, and no matter what their name really is or isn't. Because there's only one thing that matters. That one small word that starts off a word that means so much. We are, after all, just human. God bless you all and thank you for listening. Well, friends, for those that have never watched before, hello to everyone online, of course. Good to see you all. I was over there tuning you in earlier. And anyone who's never been here before as well, but has been to a spiritualist church and said, well, you've had a bit of a talk. Where's the reading? Doesn't the reading come first? Well, no, not here. We like to be different. We take discomfort in our comfort by challenging spirit. And of course, every week we have a reading. Now, we've got a lot of readings, a lot of philosophy, but we're still on time, believe it or not. Isn't that brilliant? Must have been because Nick shut up rather quickly and didn't say as much as usual. I wonder why that is. But we have our reading next, but we need to say some magic words to make the reading happen. And the magic words are, good evening, Alan, are you there? So after 3, we'll say the magic words. 1, 2, 3. Good evening, Reverend Alan, are you there?
I certainly am.
Hey!
Good evening, Littleport. Good evening, everybody online watching, and all those that will be watching after. Tonight's reading is called Most Beautiful Things, and it's by May Stein. Judge not each day by the harvest you reap, or the things you want that you cannot keep. Judge not your days by the remarks you rant, but judge every day by the seeds you plant. It's true in all of the choices you leave, your prayers to him, not to those who deceive. For Jesus will always give us his best. Leave your many choices on him to rest. Most beautiful things in the world to see, the best things touched wherever they may be, whether they are close or are far apart, all of these things must be felt with the heart. Clouds come floating in my life no longer, as God has made my faith in him stronger. I don't carry the rain or see the storm. I just add colour to the rainbow's form. Thank you very much.
I was getting worried for a minute, but right at the very last, there was the best tie-in ever. Thank you, Alan. Faith, and of course the rainbow as well, a symbol of the covenant. Now, I'm sorry, I've just got to have a rant about this because I think it's brilliant. Thank you, Alan. It's all your fault. The whole point of, how people say that certain walks of life are the reason behind fire and flood and death and destruction as punishment from God. Well, the covenant that God made with Noah, using a rainbow, stating that I will never again do harm to the peoples of the earth, was a rainbow. Funny that, for all I'm saying. Can't help it, subtle as it gets with me, but, thank you, Alan, for such a wonderful reading about faith and living life, which is really what it's all about. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll see you later then, Chief. God bless.
Okay, have a good evening, everybody.
I better wave at the camera rather than you yourself. Take care, Alan. God bless. Right, friends. Now we're having a slight change to the order of the service because healing is going to come in a few minutes. We're still on time. Look at that. It's brilliant. I'm now going to invite our medium for this evening, Martin Quigley, who sent me a lovely voice message over Tinterweb on his way here today, who's now going to give us his words from spirit and his spiritual address.
Yes.
And I'm going to plug you in there.
This is strange. Good evening, guys. Nice to be back. There's a few more in the room, which is good. So a lot of new faces this evening. And I remember seeing you in the past, Barbara. Yeah, on a lot of the churches I work at, we do an address. And I just said to Nick tonight, I've done an address a few times now about how our loved ones never change once they pass. So many of you might have had contact with your loved ones through a medium, or many of you might be here this evening just out of faith and hope that your loved ones are still around. Anyway, I don't want to talk about myself, and I'm going to talk about my mum. And if you can take a little bit of what I'm about to tell you for yourselves and your own loved ones, just to prove that our loved ones never change. So, my mum passed 2.5 years ago, 85, and she was a very short, at her peak, 4'11.5", really staunch, fire in the belly Irish lady. You can see, and towards the end, I think she got to about 4'8", so you can see how I'm 6'2". Now I got here as I am. But she was what I'd call probably one of the ultimate mothers. Absolutely gifted to have a mother like her. Always dreaded her passing, but anyway, when she did pass, I was absolutely relieved because she suffered with dementia at the end, and I know that we all know that sort of side of things. But it's what she's done since she passed to the world of spirits I want to talk to you about. All positive, but it's her cheeky ways and the things she used to get up to when she was alive that she's still continuing today. So, she passed in August 2019. And what my mother used to do, she was very, very generous with her time, mainly her time, and monetary if the family needed something. She was always on hand for Christmas, buying stuff. I would always get at Christmas the usual set of Calvin Klein pants, 3-pack from John Lewis's. My sisters or Victoria, my wife, they'd always get a pair of gloves, a scarf, or a pair of socks. And then we'd get our other bits, what we needed. It might be perfumes, aftershaves, or whatever we needed. So, and she'd always have to contribute to every single big event. And this is what I'm going to talk about. So, on 7 occasions since she passed, always on a Sunday. Now, my mum used to come every other Sunday for Sunday dinner. I'd cook. She'd always be round. And on 7 occasions since she passed to the world of spirit, the doorbell would go, always on a Sunday afternoon between 12 and 3. Always when we're actually in and cooking dinner, not when we're going to go KFC or get a McDonald's. So our doorbell, when it goes, is one of these electronic ones that goes ding, 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 ding. Dogs go mad, 3 of them. 2 parrots go loopy. The African grey shouts, hang on, like it does to the postman and everyone else. And on these 7 occasions, on every occasion, it's not been that doorbell. The doorbell has changed itself. And it's the old-fashioned ding-dong, ding-dong, in which case the dogs go mad, parrot shouts, hang on. I get up, go to the door, nobody there. So on the first occasion, I was a bit like, oh. Then I cottoned on, I went, in you come, mother. Anyway, 2 of them occasions, the in-laws have been round. So we've had that. All 7 occasions, I'll go and check the security cameras. There's one on the door and 4 around the house. Nothing. No one's been to the front door and rang the bell. So, a few months after my mother passed, we decided to get a new puppy. My mum loved animals, loved dogs, always looked after the other 2. And every single time when we would get a new dog, she'd have to contribute, whether it be a dog collar, lead, bed, whatever it was. So on this occasion, I said to Victoria, right, he's coming in a couple of weeks. We need to prepare. We need to get his food in. And incidentally, he was a little, at the time, little baby Rottweiler, male. So I'm the type that likes to be prepared. So I contacted online one of these pet companies, I'm not going to name them, and I put an order in for 3 big 15-kilo sacks of Rottweiler specific puppy food, what all the dogs had. So I put it in, quite expensive, like 179, 189 quid at the time. Put the order in, confirmation, a couple of days later, Mr. Quigley, your order's on its way. So comes home from work. This was the end of October. Comes home from work, it's dark. Myself and Victoria gets out of the vehicle, walks to the front door, there's a big parcel there with these 3 big sacks of puppy food. Goes to work the next day, comes home, gets out of the vehicle, walks to the front door, nearly trips up another 3 bags of this puppy food. I thought this is very strange, and I could sense straight away, I thought, I wonder if your mother's up to her tricks. So we took this puppy food in, no contact from the pet store, pet company at all. So with that, right bonus. Then Christmas was coming, a month or so after, and I was deciding whether to get Victoria 1 perfume or 2, and the mother-in-law, what perfume? So in the end, I went on the stingy side, and I thought, I'll get Victoria this perfume, and I'll get the mother-in-law this one. Puts the order in with Boots online. Boots said, come and collect the order. I collected the order on the Thursday. When I went in, there was the 2 bottles of perfume. day and a half later on the Saturday afternoon, I'm sitting at home and I get a text and an email saying, Mr. Quigley, you need to come and collect the rest of your order. This is very strange, but I'm going to go down. So I went down to Boots. Young lady come out. There's your rest of your order, Mr. Quigley. I went out to the vehicle and I opened up the bag and it was the duplicate perfume that I got the mother-in-law, which was the second one I was considering to get Victoria for Christmas. So I knew straight away then that my mother wasn't having me just going and getting one measly bottle of perfume for Victoria for Christmas. So incidentally, on Christmas Day, I never told her to the day, and I said, by the way, that's my mother-in-law. So that was the first two events. The fourth one's the real kicker, but I'll save that for number 4. So number 3 was January 21, and we were getting married last July, end of July last year. So the venue allowed us to have a bar, so we could provide the drinks, and there was no corkage. So that was one of the main things for the wedding. So my mother would never, ever, ever have not helped out if she was here for the wedding. So then we went down to Costco at the end of January, thought we'll get all the wedding drinks and start buying this. So we decided to get 8 boxes of this Prosecco. They're like £52 a box, 6 bottles in a box, lovely. So we get the 8 boxes of them. The rest of the shopping and whatever else goes through the till. This is Costco, by the way. So we go through the technical till at Costco, walks out with a receipt, goes through security, goes to the vehicle, packs it away. And I said to Victoria, that was a lot cheaper than I thought it would be. And as we were driving home, we looked on the receipt, and rather than charging us £52 a box for these 8 boxes of Prosecco, they'd labelled it down as a cheap wine at £17.21 a box. So, if it was the local corner shop, I would have been back there. But as it's Costco, and I know full well that Spirit 3 in a row, I would never turn down a gift from the spirit world. But number 4 was the real kicker. So you might all be sitting there going, he's incredibly lucky. However, number 4 happened the end of last year. So when we got married, we had John Lewis vouchers. My mum incidentally used to work for the John Lewis Partnership, hence why I got discounted Calvin Klein's every Christmas. And so number 4, we didn't know what to spend these vouchers on. And these were from people like neighbours that had come to the wedding and whatever. And we'd sat on them and sat on them and sat on them. They were in the bedside cabinet. So it come to Black Friday, November time. So I said to Victoria, we need to spend them. We don't want to let them rot. So we got 3 TVs. One of the TVs had got the Fire Stick in. So I said to Victoria, let's go and get 2 more Fire Sticks. Bob, TVs are done. Looked online, John Lewis's, buy one, get one free. What a result, Black Friday. So orders them 2, couldn't think of anything else to do. So we decided then to get a bottle of perfume and a bottle of aftershave, one each with the rest of the funds, and then give it to each other as an extra Christmas present. So we put the order in. John Lewis confirmed the order. And then a couple of days later, we had the delivery notification. Come home from work, it's dark, November time. Opens the front door, and as we come in, there was a red Royal Mail calling card. Sorry we missed you, we left it next door at number 7. So in which case, I went to open the door, doorbell goes, next door neighbour's there with this big box. I'm not joking, it was the size of this table, big old box. And I said to the next door neighbour, I said, crikey, what's that? That can't be from John Lewis's. She goes, it is. I said, it's very strange. I said, you contributed to some of the items in that box. It's only 2 Fire Sticks, 2 little bottles of perfume. So she said, no, I assure you, it's quite heavy. So I took the box off her, shut the door, thanks very much. Walked down the hall into the dining room, opened up the box. Top of the box was the delivery note. And the delivery note read, items in box, Amazon Fire Sticks, ×2. Bottle of Sauvage aftershave, ×1. bottle of Gucci Guilty ×1. Nothing else on the delivery note, but there was 2 other items in the box. There was a single pair of £9 John Lewis socks, and there was this monstrous box which read Dyson on it. And at first I thought, oh no, Mother's gone and got Victoria a new Hoover. She obviously doesn't like the stairs being so messy. And it wasn't. And as I pulled it out, I thought, what is this? And then I got on my phone, I thought, I've heard of these. It was this Dyson Supersonic ladies' hairdryer, and they're £300 everywhere. So at which point I shouted into the kitchen, Victoria, you better come here. Happy Christmas from Mother. To which point she could hardly contain herself, choking up. But that was my mum to the T. Every single major event, she would have to. She'd turn in her grave if she couldn't. But I thought I'd have to share it tonight. I know that we don't normally do an address here. But if my mum's still up to no good, still up to exactly the same things she used to do, then everyone's loved ones, they never change. If one of your loved ones is Victor Meldrew, he ain't going to be Frank Carson in the spirit world. But I thought I'd leave you with that, just if you can all take a little bit of your loved ones being exactly the same, still up to whatever tricks they did. And that's my mum, and that's what she did. Thanks for listening. Oh, yeah, that's what it was on.
See? You don't notice, do you? It's quite light. Well, friends, Martin Quigley's address proves very important things. Firstly, it proves that he forgot that this is recorded for all eternity, and let's hope no one from John Lewis is listening.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
No, it's not. Not on my church, not in my watch, not never, not now, not no. Damn. This is spiritualism.
That was my get out clause.
Not anymore. Let's not get me started on entertainment. I know you were joking, but let's not get me started on entertainment purposes only. But it also proves something that I always remember. The very first thing I was taught is your loved ones don't change. Otherwise, how would you recognize them when they come through? And that was absolute proof of that. So thank you for sharing that with us, Martin. A really valuable lesson about our way of life. So thank you.
We're all blessed.
We are all blessed. Now, friends, let's bless a few other people, shall we? For now, we are going to send out our healing thoughts to all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort. And, oh, hang on. Sorry. Age. Please consider in your thoughts Grace. She's itty bitty. She's my great niece and she's got chicken pox. Gabrielle, Cora, Tony and Cora need a lot of your good thoughts, please. Also, please send your thoughts to Pat. And should you be watching, young man, our thoughts go out, of course, to Paul Mainwaring. And you and your work are always welcome here should you decide to carry on working, dear boy. So please send your thoughts to not only those people, but all those that you know that are in need of healing. And rule number 1, remember, send healing to yourself. You are allowed to ask. So we will have our healing prayer, our healing silence, and then we will end with the word Amen. And then we're going to have some mediumship. So let's join together and say, as always, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, here we bring unto you all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, be they sick in mind, sick in body, or sick in spirit, that it may please thee to heal them. This we ask for those we know, for those we do not know, and those who have no one to ask for them. We ask for them now. Amen. Well, friends, it was either you didn't hear the music in the hall or you got deafened all night. I know which you'd prefer. Friends, now is the time I will be handing over for around about the next 45 minutes to a lovely man, a wonderful medium, and a very good friend of ours. So do send out your love and your thoughts and your friendship to him. Answer in a clear voice, yes, no, don't know, because we're all nosy. And most importantly of all, have a wonderful, uplifting evening as I say those magical words. I give you Martin Quigley.
Right. Very strange. I came in here quite fairly sprightly tonight. And as I've been sitting there, I feel like I'm going to go with it. I don't know where I'm going. I don't normally prefer to have spirit around me before I start, but I'm going to go with it. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then I've tried. I feel like I'm lightening up now, but I know that I had a gentleman around me, and I felt incredibly heavy with him, and I felt incredibly not myself. And I know towards the end there was a lot of sitting around. I feel there was weight fluctuation with this man. I just felt very strange. Now, come on. I feel like I was quite big. Whether the name Neil is linked around him or not, I heard the name Neil. It doesn't necessarily have to be him. But I just felt very strange sitting in the chair, and I normally don't get it until I stand up. It's occasionally. So I know I've got a gentleman that was trying to come through to me. I feel like he was quite maybe slightly impatient in life, wanting to get his voice heard in life. And I feel like that's the same in the spirit side of life. I feel there's weight fluctuation towards the end, a lot of confusion, and there was something to do with his eyes. I feel that before passing, there was a bit of fright in his eyes that was seen by whoever I'm going to be going to. I don't know what else I'm talking about. But does anyone understand a man in the spirit world that was quite active, quite assertive type of man in life that completely changed towards the end with a condition? And I know there was like a fluctuation of weight, and I just didn't feel myself. Does that make sense to anyone at all? Really weird. Because if not, I'll roll on. I heard the name Neil, and there was a Keith in there as well. I don't know. But I just felt quite subdued within myself. And there was something to do with, he was on about in his eyes. And I just saw like a shock in his eyes with what was going on. And it would have been something that you would have seen in him at the end. And I don't feel that he was that sort of guy that would have shown too much emotion in life either. But I just feel there was a certain point before passing that you did see in his eyes. That makes sense to anyone. Because I know I feel a lot lighter now, but I just know. Okay, Barbara. Do you understand something to do with the weight fluctuation?
He lost a lot of weight towards the end of his life.
Quite a big man before that. Yeah, because I just felt like I was a lot bigger than I am sitting there. And I know that he was the type of man that his mental side didn't sit right with what he was going through, you understand? Because mentally he was quite active, like to do what he did, quite a strong-minded man. And I just feel that it was a real struggle for him to deal with this. I know that it wouldn't be good for anyone, but particularly for him. And there was something to do with the eyes. Because as I see, I just like, there's something to do like, right. I know that was specific for some reason, and I wasn't quite sure. It was almost like I went, it's like just all of a sudden, right, okay, that makes sense. That's why it was like really like, okay. Do you know anything to do with a Keith or a Neil, or are we just shouting in there? Neil, sounded like Neil, or Keith as well. Yeah, and do you know a Keith? And I think there was a Frank thrown in there as well, thrown in with that. Do you know someone around you or something to do with him to do with surgery? Something going on with surgery?
Somebody had surgery today.
Right, okay. As I'm just seeing, you remember the game Operation? And they're in there digging out the funny bone and stuff. He was just showing me something to do with surgery via the operation day. Okay, so he is right there. Needless to say, I feel quite positive with him, if that makes sense, to do with this. I don't feel too dampened down with the surgery. That makes sense.
Sorry, say it again. Definitely.
To do with the surgery today, it feels quite uplifted, like it went well. I don't know, because it feels like it was quite a concern, but it's gone all right. And I couldn't quite understand. He's on about needless to say, and I couldn't quite get what the rest of he said. It's almost like it's gone as well as it could have done. I don't know. Let me ask him for some more. Has there been a celebration around you as well recently? Are there something coming up? Either just happened or just coming up. Do you know Bucks Fizz? The pop group Bucks Fizz? You know, it was in the European Song Contest, and it's the one where they got the skirts. You've got to speed it up, you've got to slow it down, making your mind up. Right, hang on, that's me. You've got to quit that indecision. Right, so would you understand this around you, Barbara? Well, there's something going on at the moment where you're humming and ahhing over something that's going on, and you're not fully committing one way or the other. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? Yeah. It does. Am I right in saying there's something you've got to make a decision on relatively soon? Because what he's telling me is like, you need to make your mind up. I know that when I've gone into that and he's humming it in my head, that's what he's trying to do. You've got to speed it up, quit the indecision. Yeah? And it just feels like making that decision in a positive way is the way to go. Just feels like there's something holding you back making that decision. But from spirit side, it doesn't seem that there's a massive hold in the way, if you know what I mean. It will all become clear. Just do it, that's what it feels like. I'm seeing like a drafts board. You know, like black and white tiles. You know, black and white tiles?
Yeah.
Like a drafts board, you know, drafts? I don't know why. Any specific reason? Right. Whatever that was there, I think there's something else coming up for you as well. There's something where you've got to make your move. Do you understand? Make your move. It's your turn to move. Make your move. So I don't know if you're planning to move or something to that effect, but it's like he's trying to say to me, you need to make your move. It's your turn. Have you had dealings with the council of late? That makes sense.
I rang the council a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Like a query or something was going on. That makes sense. And splitting off from that, do you know someone linked to the council, like a councillor or something to do with that? I don't know. Something to do with the council. Council.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know nothing. I'll stand there and got a clue what I'm talking about, Barbara.
I do know somebody that.
Yeah. Okay. And for some reason, you know, really strange. Do you watch the nature programs like on South Africa, the Into the Wild and the wild sort of side of things? Does that make sense? Because he's showing me like a herd of zebras, and I don't know why. linked to him.
Way. Yeah.
It's all analogies they show, as you know, as you full well know. Do you know Ed or Edward? Ed or Edward?
Take Edward.
Right. I don't know if this guy was a little bit of a joker as well. All I know is I'm going back to like the 70s, and it's before my time, believe it or not. I know I've got grey hair. But remember Mr. Ed?
Yeah, the horse.
Yeah. And for some reason, I'm seeing him, or he's showing me him for some reason.
Yeah, he would go back a bit further than that, yeah. He was
Mr.
way into his 90s.
Mr. Ed. I don't know why. Okay. Do you know Susie? Susie?
Yeah.
Susie is it? Okay. I just feel he was a very assertive man. He wouldn't hesitate making decisions and knew what he had to do in life.
Yeah.
And I feel you are, but I just feel at the moment he wants you to, yeah. It's a bit like he's saying, come on, don't rest too much on your laurels. That's not really you. And it's a bit like there's a frustration from one or two things that you're holding on to and not executing. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what it feels like. So from him coming around me when I'm sitting there, I feel completely different now. I almost felt like I wanted to fall asleep for the few minutes before I stood up. So I don't know if that was a lot of what he was doing, probably towards the end as well. But if you can take his love and respect, Barbara, I'll leave it with you. You're welcome, mate. Oh, it's a strange feeling, that was.
First time he's come through.
Really?
He's only been there a year.
It was like in life, he would get to the shops early, get everything done early, and it was a bit like he wasn't not having his chance to say something. He was there around me saying, no, I'm first. Okay, as long as you can take it, Barbara. My pleasure to bring him through the first time. Okay. Right, I've got another gentleman now that's around me, and I know that people have been talking about him a lot of late because he's just showing me the ears. The ears have been smoking, and I feel that there would have been aspects of his ears having hairs. You know, when you get the hairs come out of them, we all pull them from time to time, us men, but I just feel I've got a gentleman here that had a bit of hairs coming out of his ears, and I feel that you've been speaking about him of late because it's like his ears are on fire. I can see clearly now. So I think there was definitely depreciation of the vision before passing, and he's saying I can see clearly now. So what else have we got? So I've got a gentleman here that had vision problems before the end, and I feel quite surreal tonight. I don't quite feel. It's like I've got. Would you understand as well with this gentleman having memory problems before passing as well? So I feel I've got a gentleman that had memory problems, was getting quite confused with himself, visual problems as well, and something to do with the ears. So they've been, I don't know if his ears were quite big and red, hairs coming from them, but something to do with that. Anyone make any sense to that at all? That makes sense, because I feel quite confused in myself. And something to do with the vision. Not you.
Hello.
Is it you? Okay. So, is this Francis? So you've been talking about him a lot of late. Which you would have done. Lots of hairs come out of his ears at times if he didn't get control of them.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
He did get hair.
Would you understand the problem with sight? Because there's something to do with the sight.
He did have a lot of problems
Oh, did he?
with his sight.
No, he never made it show here.
No.
Yeah, but I just know that there was a degradation of the sight, and it would have been, I know that's one of the things he's on about, because I can see clearly now, not just visually, he's saying.
Thank you.
Not just visually. He was correcting me. He says, not just visually, I'm seeing more now than I ever did.
Yes.
you understand that Linda was the astute one?
Yes.
But he's trying to claim now that he would hold his own from what he's learned on passing. I don't know what he's going. I don't know where he's going. But I feel with him that he's quite chuffed with himself. That's what it feels like. He's chuffed with himself because there's certain things which you understand with your father. There'll be at times when he'd put himself down a little bit. He didn't give himself credit for who he was, what he stood for.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. And we'd understand he wasn't the most academic of people.
Correct.
Yeah. But worldly wise enough
Absolutely.
to get through life. Yeah. Which to me is the most important. But he's actually saying he is. Am I right in saying, even though you're the son, he would come to you for a lot of information?
Yes, he would.
You'd be the brains, even though he was the experienced father and had been around 30 years more than you had, that he would often come to you and use you as a, not a Bible, it's a Bible, and not a Bible, almost like a Bible and a almanac.
Yes.
You know the Back to the Future?
Yes.
The almanac.
Yes.
Yeah. So information of multiple areas. And what he's trying to say to me now is, and what is going into my mind, since he's been passing over there, what he's doing with a lot of his spare time is actually researching and learning stuff that he didn't know in this life. Does that make sense? And he's even laughing and joking that I'll give you a run for your money yourself now, son.
He always said that. Always.
Really? Really strange. You know the Pied Piper?
Yes.
Like with the recorder or the flute.
Yes.
All he's showing me now is this fella, and he's got a load of not just mice, but a load of animals coming behind him.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It does.
He's keeping them in check.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's multiple animals from the past, but there's the mice there, but there's also others behind.
It's very symbolic. Thank you.
And there's a specific dog. It's a specific dog that's sort of like halfway to the back of the line, but was very wise in life. You understand? The very wise dog that is also helping him keep everything else in check.
Fabulous. You
understand? Because as I'm seeing the line, I just know that the dog and him are making the dog count. Okay? Do you know anyone that had gerbils? Something like that.
cast it, didn't she? Gerbils. Yeah. Yes.
Right. I was hearing gerbils. Really weird. I've been drawn back now. I don't know if your father was interested or had information about the Second World War.
God, here we go. Yes.
Because Goebbels was one of the...
Commanders of the...
Yeah. And I thought he meant gerbils, and it didn't sit right, and I'm thinking Goebbels, but no. Something to do with Goebbels, and also interesting facts to do with all that.
Yes.
Yeah? And I know that we're all British, but I think there was some kind of semi-respect for the... This is on camera tonight. Would you understand your father had some sort of respect in a kind of way for the technology and the stuff that the Germans had?
He was very interested in the technology.
But very staunch British.
Absolutely.
But there was this side of him that was interested in that. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And that's why he's here this evening. Because there's something going on around you, Mr. Brown, within the science or something coming up that you're looking into, and he's very interested.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
I just know it's like your mind's opening more now and learning more about technology and what we can do with it and the uses of it today.
Yes.
Yeah? That's what he's saying it is. And he says you must. Yeah. Okay. He's having a laugh with you now. He says you're not the spring chicken you once was.
Correct.
Okay. So he says you still can open the petals up.
Thank you.
That makes sense?
Very much so.
Okay. You can still open that flower up and take it all in.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. And as he's going, for some reason he went Frank Sinatra.
I did it my way.
Yes, and that is it. It's my way. That makes sense?
Very much so.
Right at the end, Frank Sinatra. Selling Frank Sinatra my way. And I don't know who likes it. You know, who's the guys with the ponytails, the rockers? Oh, you're in the army now.
Yeah, I know the song.
But it's not that one. It's we're rocking all over the world. Status Quo. Yeah.
That was his. Yeah. Sorry. That was a big one for him. He loved Quo.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's specifically rocking all over the world, but there's specific meaning in it from you as well. Or, yeah. It's a bit like you want to spread your wings further, and he says, go for it, son.
Thank you.
Yeah? I'll leave your father's love. You're welcome. Okay.
You can do it again 20 years, they still get it.
Mm-hmm. Bear with me. Right, I don't know. Did you ever try to be a bit of a DJ at times?
Something like that.
Mucking around?
Yeah.
Because he's just making a bit of a laugh and joke about that.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
He wanted the last bit before he left.
Yeah, no, that makes that just it's the bow on top. It's
Okay.
connected to everything.
I thought I was moving on, but he just wanted to put that last bit in. Okay. Welcome, mate. Okay. Right. And I'm being joined by a lady, and I know there's a couple of gentlemen with her. I know it's the lady that wants to come through specifically. I know there's a link to the month of May. Could be the name of May, could be specific, but I just know there's something to do with May. Link to the month of May. Really weird, mushrooms. I don't know why she's on about mushrooms. I don't know if there's memories of her picking mushrooms. I don't know what it is. Slice of cake and a cup of tea. Sounds like I did every week. Sounds like an episode of Wurzel Gummidge going on here. So maybe there's an Aunt Sally or a Sally involved. I just feel very, very nice energy with this lady. I know that she's got 2 bodyguards here with her as well. I don't know what I'm talking about, but she was on about, and it might be relevant, and I'm just going to say it anyway. She's got I don't know, it's one or both of them, hunks in trunks with her. Hunks in trunks. That's what she's trying to say. Maybe she's trying to make me look silly this evening, but I'll always go with what they tell me. So I know that I've got the 2 gentlemen here, her there. I just feel like she's like one of these golden girls, sort of women, really nice. Everyone liked her, gentle soul. Unless you really agitated her, and then you'd get the wrath of her. That's what it feels like. What do you mean? I feel that one of these gentlemen here, there was definitely, I'm not sure it's her or one of these gentlemen here, had problems with blood pressure as well. It was a major problem. And yeah, the month of May. Doesn't it make sense for anyone? Lady in the spirit world, two gentlemen here, laughing and joking. I feel she was the type of lady that like there'd be a younger lad would come out and she'd go, oh, make a laugh and joke. Quite a jokey lady. Does that make sense of anyone? Feels like motherly, grandmotherly vibe. And she's got that sort of like golden girls vibe to her. Laugh and jokingly. Something to do with May, the month of May. And two significant gentlemen linked to her with her spirit side of life. That makes sense to anyone? Or am I just imagining it all? And as I was there, my ears were beating. So I feel since her passing, I normally get this when there's clairaudience involved, and you would have heard since her passing either her or you would have felt it was her trying to make communication with you. And I know it would have run through your mind, is that her? Because I just know that she's giving me an ear bashing, and it's normally not when there's some sort of clairaudience. Does that make sense of anyone? Don't be shy. So lady linked to May.
I can take the May. But
So lady, two significant gentlemen with her in spirit side of life. Have you had problems with your hearing?
yeah, a little bit.
Come on. That's really weird. So there must be quite specific with your ears. You must be slightly hard of hearing, or you've heard things going on at night time for you. Yeah? Does that make sense? As long as you make sense. So I just know there's been nattering going on at night time, unexplained.
Yeah.
It's not as if you've got, one of your friends around there going blah, 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 blah. So I just know in your quiet time, because she's trying to make, hold her hand up for it. And it must have run through your mind, what she's saying, once or twice that it is her. Because that would have to be right for it to be right. Okay. And you can take the May. Can you take her being quite jokey at times? Yeah. She liked to have a light mood around. Yeah, makes sense. She didn't want everyone dwelling and moaning and whinging and whatever else. Yeah, that's what I feel with her. Do you know a Tony or an Anthony? Tony or Anthony? Tony or Anthony?
He's like a friend called Anthony.
It's not good enough for me. Is there someone around you, either you or someone around you has bought merchandise recently? So they've been somewhere. It almost feels like someone's been to either a concert or going to a concert or to see someone like at a show, and they've got, it feels like she's on about like a program, when you get like a program when you go to see someone and it gets signed. No memories of that, either with her or linked around you? Having something signed, someone going somewhere linked to being signed. You two ain't sisters, are you? I can see. I've never seen you before. So this is mother. You understand mother in the spirit world? Do you know the two significant males that she's on about?
I think so.
Yeah. I know there's two significant males to the side of her. And would you understand one of them in his prime having quite a good physique? Because I feel that one of them's, and I think that's what she's trying to say. So I don't know if this is his father or whatever else, but I just feel like there was one significant of the two of the men over there that was quite a good stature, solid man, looked good in clothes. Yeah. Do you understand the one that lost his way at the end, lost his marbles a little bit? That makes sense. So either that or something to do with marbles. They said to me, lost the marbles. Normally it would be, I feel it was actually like a dementia or memory problem, but it's something to do with marbles.
I'm not sure about that.
You know, like the solitaire. I don't ever play it. But you know, like is it the solitaire board, whatever it is. Is there marbles missing? Right. You understand? I don't know. They're just telling me. So it's a solitaire set, but there's some of the marbles missing. Right. We get there. I was thinking they don't normally say I lost my marbles. They normally know there was memory problems. But that's their analogy of me getting round. So as long as you know they've been watching, I don't think Mum would call. And there's a couple missing, like 2 missing or something. So I think there's like 2 missing. I just feel like Mother wouldn't have liked that. Like she liked things in place. Yeah. It's like, and if she'd have seen them missing, yeah, we need to get rid of that. It shouldn't be on display. Yeah. June as well. Something significant about June. Something, there's 2. She's on about June for 2 reasons. Something significant to June and something opening up with June. So there's something happening in June. You're planning something. I just feel there's something opening up. I don't know. Mary? Who's got the untidy garden? Because as she said Mary, she carried on. She went quite contrary. How does your garden grow? So I just know from Mother she's on about one of the gardens is out of control and you need to get a hang of it. Yeah? Okay. Swap shop. I think there was something years ago called swap shop. I don't think that's what she's on about. It's almost like, I don't know if you're trying to trade something with someone like, I don't know, like you two are going, well, I've got this, you could do with that, and I'll have that, I don't know. It's something to do with like swapping or exchanging stuff. Does that make sense? Since Mother passed, is there a significant item, I think it's not in the jewellery, that one of you had and now the other one's got? That's your mum's. I just almost feel like there was a few items and one of them went somewhere and then someone had it for a little while and then said, oh, you should have it. I could be wrong.
Oh, I brought some back from the dad's and give it to me.
Oh.
That she bought me.
Right, okay. So I just know something swap shop. There's something swapped since she's passed. Someone had something and then it's swapped over.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you know that she knows and she's content, she's happy about it, but I just know there's this swap thing going on. Really weird. You know them little boxes of Cadbury chocolates? I haven't seen them for years. And they were biscuits with chocolate and they were animals. Like you'd have a lion and stuff like that and there'd be something else. For some reason she's shown me them. So I don't know if that's got any memories with you.
Yeah,
Grandma
used to give them the children.
Yeah? Okay. I know that she's on about these.
Yeah.
Is there something you like, Hannah?
I don't know. Mum? Yes.
You know you do your painting.
Yeah.
Have you tried to paint an animal recently?
There's lots of
Yeah.
pictures. Yes.
Like a rhino, that sort of thing. I don't know. Really weird. Do you know someone had a camper van? So who out of the two of you wants to go on like a tour and travel in like a camper van?
I wanted to buy one.
Because how your mum's shown it to me, you remember Scooby-Doo? That's what she showed me.
Screw machine.
Yes, she showed me that, and that's why I'm going about the camper van. Who had the camper van? Then I'm realising she went, no. One of them wants to go on a tour in a camper van and travel around the country.
I wanted to buy one.
Perfect. Pull out all the stops she's on about. Pull out all the stops. They're a little bit inflated for her liking at the moment. Do you understand she wouldn't like to waste money? Yeah. But I just know that she's seeing and hearing the thoughts that you want to do this, and she wants you to achieve that and get your camper van. Yeah. And it feels like there's two. So, do you mean two? Two. I might be wrong. Do you understand about two significant trips you want to go on? Like one somewhere and one another, or I could be totally going all over. But she's on about two significant trips in this camper van. You want to go to this destination and go this route, and there's like another one.
I think it's a couple of places I'd like to join in. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there is.
She's on about that. Is that a number 11 significant for either of you as well? Did she, when she was younger, have quite a decent set of legs on her? Because I'm now, I'm thinking, you showing me two wands. She's on about my pins. I had quite a good set of pins when I was in my prime. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay. I just know it's sort of like a jokey side of thing, and she likes to see you laugh as well. There's not enough of that going on. She's trying to give you encouragement for getting out more. Yeah? It's a bit like you've semi-reclused yourself and mum's not too impressed about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You should be getting up and doing stuff. And you're holding yourself back for some reason. You took a bit of a knock. That makes sense? You took a bit of a knock, she's saying. And you haven't managed to get yourself out of the little spiral, but she says you need to now. Yeah? Okay. You need to, my girl. You need to, my girl. You need to get out of the spiral because time's ticking on. Time's ticking on, yeah. Bit like Mr. Brown over here. He's not a spring chicken anymore, whether he likes it or not. But I know there's a lot of love coming from Mother. I know there's this semi-hunking trunks or good in clothes. I know that she's got that little side to her at times where she can come out with one or two little sort of one-liners and it'll just make you laugh. And I just know this evening that particularly she wanted to come to you with the magical mystery machine. She wants you to get in it and get yourself out there and get the fresh air and do what you want to do rather than sitting at home and resting on your laurels and having that fog of anxiety or whatever it is to get out. That's she's saying, no more. If you can do anything for me, she said, achieve what you want to achieve and don't sit there and not achieve. Okay. And with that, I'll leave Mum's love with the pair of you. Thank you. Got one more? Okay. Okay. Can I help someone in the room? I'll change something around a bit. Is there anyone in the room that would like to work with me in any capacity? Psychic, mediumship, whatever. Gentleman there. So, however you want. It could be something going on in your life, a question, or it could be a link. But don't only tell me either the relationship or the name, and I'll see where I go. I don't mind getting egg on my face. We'll give it a go. So, whatever you need.
My grandmother.
Grandmother. Okay. Is there an April connection around you or her?
Sorry?
Is there an April connection linked around you or her?
Yes.
Okay, just immediately April. Specifically. So quite a few females spirit side for you. That makes sense. And I just feel what she's on about now. There's quite a few of the girls over there. Do you understand the one significant gentleman? Right there, the head rooster. That's what she's given me. She goes, there's a load of them over there, and the main cock is there. Yeah. Quite a confident man. I just struck me down. And I just feel that would have been sort of like his persona in life, yeah. Because he wants to be known as well. I know you're asking for her, but he's sticking his chest out a bit and says, you understand, yeah. Since Nan's passing, I know there's at least one, if not two, significant weddings. That makes sense. One that's all right and one that's not all right. I feel there's two linked to her that seems to be all right, but one's had a separation. It's all curtains were drawn on that one since she passed. Is that yourself? Yeah. I just feel there's someone to the side of you that's still all right, and you was in your marriage and curtains were closed. Does that make sense? Separation. Very hard for you. Understand? Yeah? Just as long as you know that we've...
Totally closed.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
In spirit.
She's in spirit. Yeah. I just know that that's she's bringing... You understand that she's not been through that often? That makes sense. Because she's trying to bring her through specifically for you. Wasn't Nan quite a character?
Absolutely.
Because although it's quite emotional with the information she's bringing through, it's quite private. You know, it's quite private. But I feel like Nan was a little bit one for surprises.
I think the whole life was a surprise, to be honest.
And I know my wife, my wife hates this. You know, I said the curtains are closed. All of a sudden, your grandmother has just burst the curtains open and gone, ta-da! Just quite joking.
Very relevant, actually.
I ain't got a clue what I talk about, but who gave up smoking? You've given the smoking up.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. She's trying to give you credit for achieving that. Because I think that would have played on her a little bit. Makes sense.
I smoked 8 years.
Yeah. How many?
18.
Right. I can understand why it would get on her goat. You know, there's that's an expense, isn't it? 80 a day.
Not in those days.
So there's a lot of credit for you giving up the smoking. Do you feel a little bit over the last 5 to 10 years she's on about, your life's a bit like a road that keeps coming back to the same destination? You're trying your best to walk and move on, but you still come back to where you are.
That's what I asked. My nan.
She's quite frank, isn't she? I just know that she's never beat around the bush. If you asked her anything, whether you like it or not, you're going to get it. Yeah? And if you snooze, you lose. So I know that there's something about getting up in the morning. That wouldn't be her. She'd like to get early rising and get the work done in the morning, get it done. So I'm not sure if you're struggling to get yourself in gear in the mornings, but she's trying to give you a kick up the bum.
Probably.
Yeah? I don't know. I'm going to like Mars now for some reason, you know, the planet Mars and stuff. So I don't know if you're into your planets and stuff, or something going on there. That makes sense. You know a little bit about your interest in the planets, the solar system. Almost could be linked to phenomena and mediumship and everything all in one.
Absolutely.
You roll it this side of it, where I don't. I just feel like you're up there and you spend a lot of your time gazing in good weather. That makes sense.
We used to astral travel together.
Ah, you and your name. That's what she's showing me. I'm wondering, what are you doing here? Okay. Right. Okay. What she's trying to tell me now is sometimes you question effort put in and not come back in return. Does that make sense? Let me work it out. Let me put it in better terms.
Something actually just happened over the last 3 weeks. Exactly that.
So you know what she's talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Because what she's trying to say as well to me, and I firmly believe in this, is that sometimes in life we can do so much. And it's not as if you want things in return, but sometimes it's nice to see things happen. You understand? And what she's trying to say to me is to tell you that the fruits of your dedication and whatever you're doing are to come. Although it's it doesn't. Sometimes you're like, what more do I have to do? Whatever else. I just know that there's more to come for you. She's very promising with you going forward. It's been a tough run. Understand? Something to do with the last 5 years. Understand the 5. I keep going 5. 5 particularly has been really a rough dirt track. But she's right behind you. Literally right behind you. That makes sense to you? You've sensed her right
I hope so.
behind you. I don't know if you've heard this sensation. I just feel now like from the top of my neck going up my head. I feel like an energy or a chill going up. So I don't know if you've ever had that before in your quiet time, but it feels something to do with that she's trying to say. Do you understand what she's trying to give me?
I understand what she's saying.
Yeah, I ain't got a clue. I'm just playing the game with her.
She wants me to go back and do my hearing, which I haven't been doing.
Energy.
Didn't know that I've told her.
Power in the hands. Yeah? Very strange. I don't know what I'm talking about. But do you get a funny sensation in your hands at times, and one feels a little bit like it's on its own control?
Yeah, I've been doing that all evening. That's why I just ended up sitting on my hands.
Ah, all right. Just know that she was on about something to do with the hands.
That's what I do.
And they're,
Play with it. And
yeah. But she's watching everything. Vested interest in what you're doing. So this is stuff that you share together. You understand? She paved the way in a certain way for you. So she's saying there's a vested interest from spirit side watching and aiding you going forward, because it's a culmination of your history together. And she just wants you to get to the destination, what you're meant to get to. Yeah?
oh, can I go and see it then? It'd be nice to be with her. Sorry.
Did anyone ever sort of like, I'm not offending her here, did anyone ever call her a little bit of a witch at times? Because I'm seeing the lady off Wicked, you know, the stage show Wicked. I'm not saying she had green skin or nothing, but
She was actually a white witch.
okay. Well, yeah, I saw a green one, but she's happy with that. It's a bit like the fruits of your labour are really going to return home to. That's what she's telling me. Hang in there, keep going. She's on about the fruits of your labour. And it's not monetary wise or anything like that. It's to do with your own peace of mind and your own gratification and everything coming together from years and years of stuff. I just feel there's going to be a few boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, some of the things I was waiting for. They don't come when you always want them, but they're coming. Keep the faith, she's saying. Lots of love. And thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. I will nick this back.
You're welcome. I forgot it was there.
Yeah, it's very unassuming, isn't it? It looks, but it is so light. I love it. It's brilliant. Well, friends, I think we've just had a bit of a treat ourselves. If it's not a horse is a horse, of course. I'm not showing my age because I learnt it from my dad. We've had Scooby snacks in more ways than one. And of course, I would just like to say that not only are the words to that particular song you mentioned very pertinent, but the name of the group itself is kind of like diabolically accurately pertinent. And that's all I'm going to say. But we all know how we feel about the status quo of things. Well, here we are, and here we are, and here we go. We're rocking along, and we're ready to go. So here we go. We're rocking all over the world, and we certainly have been tonight. Martin Quigley! How many times did I have to read that to memorize it to say it at the end of the... Well, friends, I have a couple of notices, actually, which doesn't happen very often at the end. But I want to get in first to show that I do actually pay attention. Our medium for next week is Kevin Hales. So I don't actually think he's been here before. If he has, it's only once. But I've seen him working and heard lots about him. And so we've got a bit of a treat next week. Martin Hales coming to see us. And, of course, we always like to celebrate things in this church. So on behalf of us all here, not just at Littleport, but in my role on behalf of and you know what, some people don't even realise what they're part of. On behalf of the Bishop's Council, Councillor, on behalf of the Bishop's Council of the Independent Spiritualists Alliance, from one queen to another, happy birthday, Your Majesty. So, happy birthday to the Queen. It's her real birthday today. And I hope you had lots of lovely things, which I'm sure you probably did.
And it's my 10-year-old daughter's birthday.
There you go, you see.
She's a 10-year-old red and tan boxer.
Ah.
Chuffed to bits because they don't live normally 6 to 8, 9, and she's 10. So I'm chuffed.
Oh, wonderful.
And we're going to spoil her on Saturday with 2 whole chickens, and her 2 brothers are invited to the party. And
you got to take her down St. George's pub.
No, I think
to the garden.
A whole chicken would probably do it.
Yeah, it probably would, to be fair. Brilliant. Well, Martin, thank you so much for tonight. Absolutely wonderful. We are going to be having a very important part of the service momentarily. While I recover from my message and stop getting knowing glances from my mother. Told ya. And one thing that we do have to do every week, and even if you're in the hall, it can still apply to you. Every week, Bully's special prize at the end of the service is some encaustic art made, created, and inspired from spirit by this lovely young lady, Hannah. It is the final prize of the raffle, and every week, because we know we've only got one copy, I put it right up against the camera, so it's big enough to zoom into. And then I say now, and people can print screen and have a copy of their own. And the wonderful thing about encaustic art is that it's ever changing, ever different, and you get your own messages in here as well. In actual fact, I think I can see a bit of a rhino in there. Funnily enough, there's a rhino in there. I'll show you in a bit, if you get a chance to see it before the owner wins. But there is indeed all sorts. Every week, this lovely young lady donates it. Now, on the 31st of July, we're having what can only be described as the biggest mind, body, and soul expo this hall has ever seen. It's massive. I tell you, it's growing literally exponentially every second of the day. And I'm also aware that if you've never won one of Hannah's encaustic art, you might be able to make a purchase on the day of some of Hannah's encaustic art. So that's just one of the things that we've got going on. I'm getting a list this week of everything, so I'll announce it next week. And of course, Sunday just gone, we had the second drumming and healing circle. And I have heard plenty of really, really good things. So well worth it. That is on every third Sunday of the month. And coming soon, probably around about July, August time, on the first Sunday of every month, just to give it a bit of a break, we will be reinstating our mediumship workshops. And they will be like a 10 till 6 with lunch included in this hall. Just got to sort the details out. There's one or two things to iron out before we do that. Pardon the pun with encaustic art. But this church, your church, you, are growing exponentially and making certainly the journey from Peterborough to Littleport on a Thursday afternoon, very late in the afternoon, extremely worthwhile. So this is your church. You are the church. Thank you all so very, very much. And one final big thank you to Martin Quigley. And of course, we must say thank you to St. George. Mind the wires, love. They only go under it so often. And of course, thank you to you all. So let us close this service in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love, of hope, and of friendship. And we know that we will always witness your proof and your truth in the sights and the sounds and the words that we see and hear amongst each other gathered here and in our daily lives. And speaking of our daily lives, Great Spirit, when we are in times of doubt or difficulty, we ask you not to move the mountain. Just give us the strength to climb. Until we meet again in your name. Amen. Well, friends, in a moment, Jack's going to make sure the volume is all the way down because we're going to be saying a goodbye to our online friends. That doesn't mean that you can start swearing, though, again. But, of course, we will be saying goodnight to our online friends while we have our raffle. But once again, a big thank you to you all. Big kudos to you all, making it worthwhile. And a big thank you to Martin, our medium, for tonight. So from all of us here, to all of us down there, and anyone who's watching in the future, from Littleport Village Hall, after 3, 1, 2, 3, good night, and God bless you all. Hit it, maestro.